Hello friends, Molly Ponfidith here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of the SOAR Community Nebula. Our goal this year is to spotlight and feature 1,000 community builders and champions of change. And today we are so happy to bring to you Dr. Elizabeth Wachira. Thank you so much for being a part of our Nebula initiative.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Molly. Blessed to be here.
Thank you so much. Please introduce yourself to our audience. Let us know where you're dialing in from and what work you're currently doing in the world.
Okay. Hello, fabulous people. My name is Elizabeth. I am dialing in from Dallas, Texas, the great state of Texas. And what I do is I am an assistant professor. So I work with young people every day, Monday through Friday, but I also do that, do the church, working with youth groups. And then my other love is being a community mobilizer or a community advocate.
That's wonderful. Well, can you provide us with more details on what it means to be a community mobilizer and the initiatives that you really are focused on advancing? You mentioned youth, but can you give us more specific details?
Yes. So that term actually is up and coming. And it's because I have, in dialoguing with various people, they said, hey, Elizabeth, you do this so well. They gave me the term, a community mobilizer. And so what I do is I bring people together. I love working with people, dialoguing with people, but given my skill set as a public health professional, part of that is promoting health and promoting overall wellness, regardless of what health means at that point in time. So I do that by strengthening communities through making sure we are communities that are informed and empowered. Now, this can be at the individual level, what I do with my students, with youth, but also with the community at large. And one of the initiatives that I'm working on right now is an AFYA Day initiative. AFYA is Swahili for wellness. And wellness is a large spectrum, right? Not just health in terms of being free of diabetes or cancer, but it's also social, political, economic. And the best way to start that journey of promoting wellness is to first mobilize a community to come together to be informed through resources. I try to be a resource to know a little bit about everything, or if I don't know something, to know someone that can talk more on that. So a lot of what I do is just bringing together various resources that our community may need through the people that service that. And rather than replicating what somebody is doing, I work to create a space at the table. So that's what, to me, a community mobilizer in action. I'm becoming that every single day.
That's fantastic. So when in your life have you experienced a community builder or champion for change championing for you, where you've been shifted or perhaps have mentored you and fostered you into the woman that you are today?
Okay, a great question. Jam-packed question. A precursor, I've just finished reading the book Becoming by Michelle Obama. So I am definitely realizing I'm in this becoming phase. And that is just what I mentioned about the community mobilizer. That's part of becoming who I am. And today, actually, 2 years ago, I graduated with my PhD. So Facebook has really got me emotional. So if that comes out, please excuse me. But thinking on that and just thinking about that journey, that really vigorous journey, the two people that stand out and always stand out are the greatest heroes of my life, which are my parents. And sorry.
Don't be sorry.
And I have been, of course, a direct product of their love, a direct product of who they are. And to me, my parents are my greatest champions, and have seen, my dad is a pastor, my mom is a nurse, so they're champions in their community. They use the skills they have, the resources they have to help anybody. And it's not about the number of people they impact, it's about the individual that they impact. And seeing that played out in ministry, my father doing ministry, my mom giving of herself, and seeing that in my personal life, and them being there knowing that they're there and my greatest cheerleaders has really challenged me to be the woman that they can be proud of. A woman that, as I stand on their shoulders, because they're giants, I can also be a giant to somebody else. And so those are two of my greatest champions, and they push me to continue to be that and to emulate that championness to my community, no matter how big or small.
Mm, that's
Sorry for the
very,
emotions.
very
Woo!
sweet. Never apologize for your emotions. It's certainly beautiful to know that you've had such a wonderful relationship with your parents, and to
Mhm.
know that they are incredible human beings based on what you just shared.
Yeah.
Need them to nurture all of
Yes.
our souls here, right? We need people just like that. So
Yes.
now you've been around your parents who are absolute community builders and champions
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
change.
Mhm.
When you're around others that are like that, they give so much of of themselves to others. What are
Mhm.
some of the consistent themes or characteristics that you've witnessed?
So I would say excellence. Um, just excellence in that whatever it is you're doing, you do it to the greatest potential you can. And then being caring, right? And humble. And one thing that I have seen resonating, regardless of who that individual is also being dependable and accountable to somebody other than themselves. And I believe that's what, when all those synergize together, that's what keep them coming back. Amidst the disappointments or maybe the isolation that may come with being a change agent, is them knowing that somebody else looks up to them or depends on them to show up and to simply continue being, it keeps them going. And so excellence, being caring, humility, and dependability.
Those are really good characteristics to have.
Mhm.
As you are out in the community, are there specific movements, causes, nonprofits that you'd like to feature and highlight, or something that you are creating an initiative around that you'd like to have our community know about?
Absolutely. So I will mention the two that I am directly involved with. This one, actually, this week, May 18th, we have the AFYA Day, which is kicking off this initiative to mobilize the Kenyan community. I'm from East Africa, Kenya, and the DFW has a large demographic of Kenyans, but also other immigrants. And as a public health professional, when I put on that hat, is I see the vulnerabilities that they face as a marginalized community, and amidst of the challenges, I also see the beautiful resilience that comes out of that. And so AFYA Day, which is happening this Saturday, is to really mobilize our community, to connect our community together, and to promote wellness, right? That wellness agenda, and doing this by creating communities that are informed and empowered, informed with resources that are accessible to them as an immigrant community, despite or regardless of the challenges, whether those are immigration issues, socioeconomic status issues, um, to highlight resources that they can reach into to tap in whatever they need. So that is AFYA Day happening. This is the first one and the first initiative to bring the Kenyan community together in this way, to focus on prevention rather than reacting to a calamity that happens, a legal demise issue. Um, Mental health rates in our community are on the rise. I mean, we have young people committing suicide, and when you get into the story of why that is that there's a disconnect in some way or another, and the lack of information and the lack of know-with about what mental health is and the resources in the community becomes very, very clear. So AFYA Day is in response to that, to say that before that calamity hits and it there are inevitable outcomes such as these, we can prevent the suicide, which is a negative outcome, by calling mental illness what it is, but also informing and empowering our community to be able to use those resources so we can avoid suicide, for example. And on that same vein, my brother and I, Dr. Wachira, he works for the World Bank. Hi, David. We co-founded an organization called Youth Engagement Society, and resonate still with that idea of empowering young people and bringing resources together to where, rather than duplicating something that has already been done, let us bring that organization, that individual that talks very well on, let's say, becoming a legal advisor, becoming a doctor, creating opportunities for education. Rather than trying to replicate that, we find organizations that do that. For example, we partner up with an organization called Inspire Spaces, which is to provide economic resources to at-need children to be able to go to school. Rather than do that, the Youth Engagement Society says, let's bring these individuals at the table and connect them with other individuals that need that. And as we also do that, let us bring in professionals and other people that care about young people and would love to mentor young people, and create a space where they can network and get to know each other. But at the end of the day, it's about informing and empowering these young people to do better and to even dream beyond their capacity at that point.
That's fantastic. Wow. Two doctors in the family, my goodness.
My
Congratulations.
parents are great people.
Thank you for launching those initiatives. They're much needed, and thank you for doing that. So when you have gone through difficult times, is there a philosophy or quote or perhaps even scripture that really helps to ground you, bring you back to center, and allow you to move forward in a positive way?
Yes. Mali, I will tell you, I am very eclectic. So my quotes are many, and my coffee mugs, I'm a coffee mug person. So I have coffee mugs that say, you're the boss, you can make it, focus, depending on my mood. But in reflecting, I've been in a time of reflecting this season, um, and I was thinking the scripture, actually, it's become a scripture that I am finding myself wanting to emulate. Is, it may sound so cliche and so simple, but it's John 3:16. Everybody knows it. It's in a mug somewhere. It's in a cover somewhere. But for God so loved the world that He gave, and it continues on. But for me, and here those tears again, is I want to live a life that when I am done living, I have nothing else to give. I have given of my time, I've given of my resources, my intellectual capacity, and my love to everybody, so that when my eulogy is being read, it can be as simple as, for Elizabeth loved, Elizabeth cared so much that she gave. She gave of her time, she gave of her resources, she gave of herself because she cared about this world. So, very simplistic, but it keeps me going. And I mentioned I've just finished that Becoming book, and that evolves. What I will focus on tomorrow may be different from what I'm doing today, but it's because our world is changing. The struggles that our community faces never stay the same. And we as community agents have to be adaptive to that, to where we meet the direct need of the people that we serve. But at the end of the day, regardless of whether I am empowering a young woman to dream beyond what she thinks imaginable, whether I'm challenging already existing leader to continue doing what they're doing, or whether I am simply writing an article to make sure I get tenure in 3-4 years. At the end of the day, regardless of what I'm doing, I want to be able to say, for Elizabeth loved that she gave. And whatever that giving is, the point is, I gave everything that I could.
Mm. You answered this beautifully just now, but I will reiterate this question and perhaps you can add some more details to it.
Mhm.
When you imagine a better world, the world that one day you'll leave behind, what does that better world look like through your eyes?
Ooh, wow, that is a great question. Um, that's an emotional question too. But I think as a social justice scholar, and that's where my research and everything that I do is to create a world where everybody belongs and everybody's accepted for who they are, is for um, a world where people are accepted and where the color of your skin or the accent that you speak with or even where you live does not determine the resources that you have and ultimately determine the type of life you will live. And we can only do this when we all become change agents. So to circle back is, I would envision a world where all of us um, decide to be change agents, to where we do it with excellence, caring, with humility, but at the end of the day, we stay dependent and knowing that other people depend on us. And if I do it, you do it, somebody living in Malaysia and Ethiopia does it, the ripple effect of that is unimaginable. But what it will create is a world where we can all be who we were meant to be and live a fabulous life.
I couldn't have answered that better if that question were posed to me. Thank you so much. How can we support you as a community? What are one or two things that we can do at SOAR Community Network to advance your causes and your mission?
Join in as a resource, right? Come to the table. There are chairs around this round table. And if you, I tell, when I've been pushing this AFYA Day, I say, if you exist in our community to make our community different and to make it better, you deserve to be at this table. So bring that resource. So as we're creating spaces and pockets where individuals can tap into various resources, the only way to do that is if this community is there as well. So if you are in the Dallas area, in the DFW area this week, hey, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, and say, would love to come and join in and be a resource to provide services and information to our community. For the Youth Engagement Society, you can do the same thing. We do 2 events on that, one in October coming up, and then one in August in Kenya, actually, during International Youth Day. And we are, the same thing is creating a pocket where individuals can come in and network with young people and empower and provide resources. And a resource can be as simple as, hey, this is what I did when I was pursuing that degree. This is what I did when I was starting that business. This is what you should try not to do. And here's some resources to help you to help you go into that season, whatever that season is. And that's what being a resource is all about. So come be a resource with us, whether in Dallas or in Kenya at any point in time.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Elizabeth Wachira. Thank you. You really have inspired me personally today, and I really appreciate all that you're doing for our society, for our community, for our world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Molly. I appreciate it.
For those that are watching, thank you again for being a part of our community, for joining us and following us as we bring to you these wonderful community change agents. Please remember to nominate yourself or someone in your community who's making a huge difference. Please learn more at nebula.soarcommunitynetwork.com. Thank you, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.